Hi, I'm Jeremy Hanna, and here are the five things I wish somebody had told me before starting my consulting firm. Number one is the hustle is very, very different between being an internal person versus being an entrepreneur. So, my career was 20 plus years in Fortune 500 companies and small to medium sized companies, really driving talent solutions within those organizations. And while I had to do a lot of influencing, a lot of really driving impact and demonstrating ROI in terms of what I was driving, that is a very different skill set than what it is to actually be out there trying to sell yourself, sell the value that you provide as a coach, as a consultant. Um, the the demand internally was already there, and I just needed to influence people to understand how it can best serve them. Versus externally, it's a lot of the same influencing skills, but it's a different value proposition that we have to try and connect with in terms of our ideal audience, and really helping them understand the value to invest their own money into these solutions for them. So that is a struggle that I'm still working through day to day, but leveraging some of the skills that I have had from the past towards what I'm doing now is something I wish I knew sooner. Number two is very tangential to the previous one, but it's really, I wish somebody would have stressed how crucial it is for me to define my own value proposition for our skills and solutions that we provide. Um, Starting out, just really casting the widest net possible, thinking you just get whatever business you can, connect with any clients that you can, adapt and be agile and move along with it. But it really wasn't until we sat down, defined our brand, defined who we are, defined our messaging, that we started to see an uptick in terms of the connection and the reaction that we're seeing with our marketing and PR efforts out in the world. And so I wish I would have been able to define that and be a little bit more specific sooner on, but I think it's a learning curve that most people as entrepreneurs go through in terms of finding their niche and finding their ideal audience and really understanding the message to connect with them. Number three, I wish somebody would have explained to me and try to connect with me in terms of the value that you derive from impacting people deeply versus the breadth of impact that I used to have in my previous career. So, being within a large organization, I was impacting thousands and thousands of employees and leaders with the solutions that I was providing to the organization, and that always felt really good. But a lot of times it just kind of went out in the ether, and sometimes I would get feedback in terms of how it's going and that sort of thing. But it just felt good that I knew that it was impacting a large breadth of people. And so now being an entrepreneur, I guess the goal is to always have thousands of people that I can impact. But as I'm just getting started, I'm finding actually much more satisfaction, and I didn't know if I was going to do that, but much more satisfaction in really deriving those deep impacts for individuals in terms of how I'm really impacting their life, and they're telling me how I'm changing their life in certain ways. And so providing that one-on-one coaching, using my foundations in behavioral science, I'm seeing trajectories change, and that has been so rewarding and is keeping me going day to day, much more than I ever anticipated. And that would have been nice to sort of somebody say like, you're going to feel this reward and in ways you never thought possible, and that has been true for me. Number four is really making sure that you protect your time. And this is specifically around making sure you have time to think about the future, think about strategy. Where are you going? Because the day-to-day grind in terms of being an entrepreneur is such is real. and so making sure that just as much as you're scheduling out your time with clients and other partners and stakeholders that you're working with along the way, you really need to make sure that you're carving out time throughout the week, throughout the month, at the very least, to think about strategy and think about where you're going next. Because being reactionary is definitely not sustainable over time, to be able to stay ahead of the curve and to kind of constantly innovate for clients going forward. And while I kind of knew that coming into it, it's much more prevalent than I thought it was going to be. So again, just having that person or somebody say, hey, don't forget to spend time on your strategy and forward thinking, that sort of thing, would be very advantageous. And finally, number five, a coach needs a coach. Leaders need coaches. We all need coaches. You even think about people who are like at the top of their game in terms of sports. They still have coaches, both for their physical health as well as their game and their strategy. We all need coaches along the way, and it's not just a plug for what I do, but I think I even as a coach, need a coach to help me think through what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, facilitate my thinking a little bit differently, so I'm not so I can see the blind spots and try and work around them. But it's also shifted from having this built-in internal network of people that you work with on the day-to-day basis when you're in a corporation to now the second chapter as an entrepreneur, where I've had to shift my network of colleagues through LinkedIn and former mentors and colleagues that maybe I haven't connected with as much in the past, new peers in the coaching community that I've really connected with and started to have conversations with, to build up my own ecosystem of resources and people that I can rely on for advice and guidance along the way. Because without that strong, trusted network, I think that it's hard to innovate and continue to move forward as an entrepreneur without having some of that support system built in. So, highly recommend that one last as honestly first, because I think we all need a little help from time to time. Thank you so much. It's hard to